The difference that it's been different from any other character that I've played. I mean, Carly is a lot more tomboyish. Physically, she's different. You know, I try and make every character as believable as possible and as unique as possible, so that when you're watching something, it's not like, oh, that's the girl from, you know, 24 or whatever. That's the girl from The Girl Next Door, who knows? But, you know, so she's got a little bit more edge to her. She's, you know, the appearance obviously is different with my brown hair. Did something a little different also to cater to also Paris's character, who in the film is a little bit more feminine and kind of, I think my character's your typical kind of wanting to go to New York type of gal, which we talk about in the film as well. So she's a little edgier, a little more rough, doesn't really care about appearance, doesn't wear a whole lot of makeup, doesn't care about her hair, and it's just more focused on her career as opposed to anything else, I think. I think because the role looks so grueling is because I think it's the reality that this girl is not Laura Croft. I mean, she's not a fighter. She probably has never done anything like this in her life before. And just from the circumstances and the situations that the characters put under, I felt these were the ways that a normal person would react, including myself. It's just been so much fun. I mean, we're in paradise. We literally are. I mean, we're living in surfer's paradise, so it's like, it's beautiful, it's magnificent. And you know, with the crew is just like any other crew. It's funny, when I'm here, I don't realize I'm in Australia. I feel like I'm in, you know, any other place. It's funny, when you're shooting a movie, sets are very similar, crews are very similar because of all the different positions that people have, and you get accustomed to it. And for the fact that the town is remarkable. I haven't seen anything like it, but I mean, it's pretty much your typical, you know, cast and crew, which is a lot of fun because this is what we love to do, and this is where I feel most comfortable. So it's been really great. He has great chemistry with everyone on set. I think the thing is that he's not so worried about how the movie's gonna look, because I think he really has a strong sense of that. He's very creative as far as how the shots are going to be laid out and how he's going to shoot it and how dark it's going to be, and he has a really good eye for that.
You know, I think Nick is the kind of kid who grew up and was able to accomplish anything he wanted to, but he had an overachieving sister, so he'd get an A. She'd get an A, he'd get a B. So he'd go home and his parents would say, well, why can't you get an A? He was never good enough. You know, he could never be good enough to compare to his sister. So eventually one day he rebelled. You know, he got in a fight. His friends had respect for him. You know, he beat the crap out of the kid. The next thing you know, he just kind of decided to grow this machismo. That's who he became, even though it's not who he is. And so that's kind of the face that he puts on. Now, I mean, I've only been doing this for 5 years, but a lot of times you walk on a set and it's tough to kind of find your way into it. You know, you have to really visualize things. They painted it out for us. You know, they made a house of wax. It's completely made of wax. They made a town that is desolate and empty and creepy and eerie. Things that I've seen driving cross country. You stop into a completely and utterly empty town, you know? So I've seen these things. They made them very real. And so it made our jobs that much easier. It was an incredible work, incredible set designing, incredible work from everybody. He puts together great casts. He chooses great stories. He makes great movies. I think if Joel's name's attached to it, you have to follow through. You have to watch. You have to see what he's going to do next. And he changed the stereotypical slasher kids movie, and he put a new spin on it in this one. Jama is the coolest director I've worked with. He straight out, he studied very, very hard for this movie. That guy worked so hard. And if there's one thing I learned from him, it's there's enough time in the day to get things done. And no matter how tired he is, no matter how he feels, he shows up, he does his job. You know, the Vincent Price version in 1953 was great. I mean, there's a creepy concept behind wax, you know, and wax figurines. It doesn't sit well, I don't think, in anybody's stomach. I went to a wax museum when I got here, and it's just tough to stare at them. It's tough to look. And so I think taking the concept and contemporizing it and making it interesting for the youth of America to see, and I think all demos, personally, was smart.
As far as the darkness and the you know, the pathos of these two guys, it's just I have to tap into the dark side absolutely. I mean, you know, in playing these two guys, they're very dark, and at the same time, it's very silly and funny to go to, you know, doing a horror movie, playing these incredibly like psychotic and disgusting characters. They're just beyond my even imagination. Where it is basically my imagination having fun and kind of goofing and having a good time doing a horror film. So there's a little bit of reality and a lot of make-believe. Done a couple, you know, definitely try to do as many as I can, but I have a great stunt person who makes me look great. You know, Victor is really, he's a total stud, and thank God that he's here. He does all the hard stuff. I try to do what I can, but he's a pro, and he makes me look good, and, you know, anytime that can happen, I'm gonna let him do it. Absolutely. One of my favorite scenes is when I think Bo's introduced in the story, and he takes Carly and Wade up to the house to get a fan belt. He has him like he's making up a story, and he has a lot of fun with it. It was a lot of fun doing that, kind of messing with both the characters. And also when Bo messes with Chad Michael Murray's character, he plays Nick, at the gas station. That was a lot of fun. Chama's this crazy Spaniard that I love him. I love working with him, and he's great. He is. He actually brings a lot to the table. He's very open and very accessible, and he, you know, whenever I'm stuck or if I have a problem or have questions, he's always there, and he helps, you know, he helps guide me to the place where I need to go. And sometimes when I'm afraid to go to that place where I need to go, he will be there and he will push me and help me get there. He's a wonderful director, and I love him dearly, and I'll work with him. You know, hopefully I'll work with him a lot more, and if ever asked, I'd be there in a heartbeat. He's a great guy. I love him.
Well, at first it's a Joel Silver movie, so I was very excited when I got that call. And to do a Dark Castle film, which I've seen Gothica, I've seen Ghost Ship, and all of his movies. And I don't know, I read the part and I loved it. This film is very scary. The director's made it very dark, and it's shot very like beautifully in the lighting, and it's just very eerie, and just the whole concept of the film is just something that's really cool. And I saw the original and I thought it was pretty freaky, so I think it's cool to do a remake. We've all been hanging out, we're having so much fun. Everyone's so young and cool, and no one's gotten into any fights, and I don't know, I love Alicia. We've been like best friends on set. She's so sweet, and I'm just so happy I'm working with such a great cast. Well, filming the sequence at night, it was freezing, and I was in a bra and underwear, so I was pretty cold, and the fact that I had no shoes on, I would get a little sick sometimes and a sore throat, but I don't know, it helped with the role. It helped being scared and cold, so it was cool that we got to shoot on location instead of like a fake set.
House of Wax is a story about a group of young kids who go out to, you know, take a little road trip and go to a football game and decide to camp for a night and then have car troubles and have to find a way to fix the car. And so they end up journeying off the usual route and finding a city that they, you know, they just want to get a fan belt to fix their car so they can go to the game. And it turns out to be a city that has a few secrets that they're obviously not aware of. And one of those secrets happens to be crazed, maniacal killers. So, you know, they run into some problems. Wade is a pretty laid-back guy. He's just a normal guy, not sure what he wants to do with his life. He's graduating, and he doesn't really know where he wants to go. And he's a big fish in a small town, but he's scared to become a small fish in a big pond, and so he doesn't know if he wants to move with Carly to New York, and he's got all these issues that he's just not sure of, and he wants this trip to the football game to just be relaxed and cool. I saw the original House of Wax, and this is a complete retool of it, you know. And I love Vincent Price, and I love what he does with everything, but it's a whole new story with, you know, maybe about 4 or 5 similar things.
Well, Dalton is the inquisitor of the bunch, I guess, and he's kind of a bit of a a shy guy in a way, and I think some of the kids come from wealthy backgrounds, and he's kind of from a little bit more of a working class background. He works in sanitation, and he has a crush on Carly, who is Nick's sister, and Nick is my best friend, so there's that crazy dynamic going on all the time. For me, what makes a Dark Castle a unique project to work on is, like I said, I'm a big fan of old horror films, specifically the ones that they usually remake, and so I think that they give it a nice flair, and they end up pushing the envelope a little bit with what horror films remade, new horror films do and stuff in terms of technology and stuff like that. So I would say that that's the benefit for me, or the interest for me, to work on a Dark Castle film.
Paris Hilton, she's very professional. She came in, she had like tons and tons of notes for like her script and whatnot, and that's sort of how I work, especially in the beginning. Like going to the director, asking a lot of questions, and she seemed like she was ready for this and ready to dive into this, and so I definitely respected her, and I've actually had a pleasure working with her. She's been very professional. House of Wax is a story taken from a horror flick from a 1953 film, same title. And what they've done is taken a horror film that did successful in the past and sort of redid it for current times with what our generation wants to see. And every teenage generation loves to be scared and freaked out, and now it's our turn for our generation to do a really scary movie.
For some reason, we ended up shooting the movie in order. Like, not completely, but the first 3 to 4 weeks of shooting were like the beginning, like the first half an hour of the movie. So that never happens. And just because, most of the sets were not going to be ready, and because it all happens like in exterior and things like that, we were able to do that. And that gave the cast the opportunity to like discover their characters. I made the point to design each of the death scenes and made them into their own little thing. This is what the fans want. This is what people pay for. It's like you don't want to like build something up and then just don't pay it. The first time that I got the script, it was just more like the old one, where people are just kind of like dipped in wax. Like there's like a big, boiling vat, and like they tip it over and it just comes to their face or whatever. And I started like asking people, like like the wax people. They're like if you were this guy, how would you do it? Like I want to know for real, how would you wax somebody? It was great working with Joel. He really trusted me, and he let me do whatever I wanted. That's like a dream come true for a director. The cast was really enthusiastic. I think they were never hesitant about, they knew that it was going to be hard, but they were all very eager to work. They worked very, very hard.
We like the idea of this wax museum, and inside the museum are wax sculptures that really are kind of corpses that are covered in wax. So that's what we've kept. The Vincent Price role was kind of, we left that back in the 50s, but we just liked the title, and we liked that basic idea, and then we went with a whole new story and a whole new idea. But that kernel of the concept we kept with us. Put together a great group of stars of tomorrow. Alicia is just, fantastic. She's a pro. She looks great. She knows how to be scared and how to have the anxiety and the tension that the job requires. She's just a real, kind of stable force in the whole, on the whole crew. And so is Jared Padalecki, who plays Wade, who is a her boyfriend, is just, he's like, the quiet, stoic kind of guy that kind of keeps everybody together. And Chad Michael Murray, who's Nick, who's Alicia's brother, makes a great kind of turn where he starts out being a kind of a bad kid, tough guy, and then at the end of the movie, he kind of saves his sister, and they kind of save the day. And then Paris is just a force of nature. I mean, she's Paris, and she's great in the movie, and it was just a lot of fun to be with, and did a great job on the movie, and has been a great job in getting ready for the movie to come out. And Jaume is from Barcelona, he's Spanish, and he'd done a bunch of videos and commercials, but I thought they really were inventive and smart, and I really felt that that he could do a great job, and he did. He did an incredible job. He really brought a lot of kind of style to it, and he really understood what it had to be, and I'm so happy with the movie. I just think he did a great job. But everybody had to kind of learn to live with the wax, to work with the wax, and it was complex. But when you see the end of this movie and this building kind of, what happens, it is what it is. I mean, we didn't build this set out of wax, but it feels like it. I mean, we were able to make it look what it had to look like, and it was all through the magic of special effects, props, paint, and visual effects. So it all kind of worked together.
We knew we wanted to work with Alicia. Been a huge fan of hers from her TV show 24, and she was just coming out in Girl Next Door, and she's just incredibly talented, and she was always who we pictured in that role. Chad Michael Murray, same thing. He's had a long-standing relationship with Warner Brothers, and they've really wanted to keep him active in features, and he's perfect for the role. He and Alicia play brother and sister, and they share a similar look, so he was our first choice. I think it's always looking at what we're about to do and saying, okay, how can we do this in a way that has never been done before? What is a new angle into it? So let's understand and recognize, okay, what's the cliche? Okay, now how do we not do that, and how do we do something completely different?
Dalton, what did I say?
Hey, yo, man, you need something? Can we help you?
Maybe we're on his property.
Hey, man, turn your lights off. I'm serious, man. Turn your lights off. I'm whooping someone's ass.
Come on, he's gone. This is the first horror film I've done, and it's just been so much fun.
The storyline is just, it's really freaky.
When I read the script, I thought, how are they going to pull this off?
It's a dark castle movie, man.
House of Wax is a story about a group of young kids who go out to, take a little road trip and go to a football game, and then have car troubles and have to find a way to fix the car.
I don't know, it's getting late. What do you want to do?
Why don't we just camp out? I mean, we're close enough, right?
Yeah, let's just pull over here.
So they end up journeying off the usual route and finding a city.
Hey, how's that House of Wax?
And it turns out to be a city that has a few secrets that they're obviously not aware of.
It is wax.
They kind of meander, walk down the wrong road, and things start to fall apart.
Every generation loves to be scared and freaked out, and now it's our turn for our generation to do a really scary movie.
The whole concept of the film is just something that's really cool.
This is what we love to do, and it's been really great.
I've seen what I've seen, and I think it's something that people are going to want to and definitely should go see. It's great.